A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. I am at Quaker Steak and Lube, the place to be. On Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, Goon and I like to hang out here, enjoy some great food. The all-you-can-eat wing buffet getting underway as we go off the air here this afternoon at 4 o'clock. You can come on down, enjoy those delightful wings with all of the wonderful sauces and all of the appropriate side dishes as well. Here at Quaker Steak and Lube, great beer selection here as well. You can check out their fabulous menu as well, and you can enjoy some great sports action all to boot. As we head into the Ohio State weekend, we encourage you to stop on down at Quaker Steak and Lube. Would not be a bad place at all to watch the aforementioned Penn State Ohio State game come Saturday afternoon as well. Goon, it's I don't know. It is such a weird perspective to me to have the season that had such high hopes at the start, and now it feels like, in some ways, even though they are playing for their bowl lives now, coaches are coaching for their careers at Penn State probably, and all of that, and yet it, again, to me, feels like kind of house money here for these next two games, where because of the way everything is played out, I'm really not expecting much in terms of results here versus Ohio State and Indiana. And it's strange because I don't know that good, bad, or indifferent, that the results here matter much moving forward. Like we're so used to, man, this is a critical game. I've been big on, well, it's important for the momentum of the program. They got to get a win here or a win there, or I don't, because of the new coach coming in, I don't know that it really much matters how this thing finishes up. You agree or disagree on that?
Yeah, I mean, and we're also of the ilk that we're going to need a general manager. You know what I mean? I mean, the whole breakdown of the coaching staff is going to be different because you're going to have a general manager and you're going to have a new head coach. I mean, right now it's Terry. I'm on board with Terry. If they want to keep Terry, I'm good with it, But if they want to move on, I mean, Terry has 5 games to prove himself right now. So I mean, he can do some big things for himself. And if it's not here, maybe somewhere else, if they play well against Ohio State and Indiana. I mean, I watched the Indiana game pretty close the other day, and they're damn good, man. I mean, they're very, very good on offense and then really, really effective on defense. So, they are. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are Penn State lettermen who would just love to stay here. And Danny Connor, Ty Howell, Terry Smith, the D-line coach is Deion Barnes. I mean, there's 5 guys right there who are alumni, are lettermen who can help the transition for the new coach coming in, if it is somebody new or whatnot. But we're not used to it here, obviously. But again, we weren't expected to be sitting here at 3-4 right now either. I mean, we're on the verge of a 6-game losing streak. Has that happened before?
Boy, it is just such a strange position to be in, where I felt probably as confident about this team. I pretty much presumed they would be in the playoffs. Kind of worst case scenario. And I mean, worst case scenario was 9-3 at the start of the season. It's like, man, if everything goes wrong, 9-3. And now we're sitting here like it's going to take some work for this team to get to 500, to be 6-6. Like, even if they look good and lose these next 2 games, there's no assurance there in either of the final couple either. That, like, this thing could be a sub 500 season. And again, it's just hard to get your mind around it when you were as convinced as I was that this team was on the cusp of being of winning a national title and being right there with the best of the best.
Yep.
And it's interesting because I keep listening to the discussions on the next coach, and there are some names there that would get the attention. I am less concerned, and I'm hoping and I think Pat Kraft is less concerned about whether or not this is a splash hire than whether they get somebody that can really get in here, roll up their sleeves, and get this thing over the finish line. Over the finish line in this case is winning the national title. Again, much easier said than done. But I'm just not sure. Whoever it is, and again, speaking for myself only, I am okay if it is a splash hire like an Urban Meyer or something like that. Fine, but I don't think it automatically means all right. You're there. I'm okay if it's an offensive coordinator somewhere, whether it's Stein from Oregon, the offensive coordinator's name who I'm blanking on at Georgia Tech. Whatever. I'm okay. I don't think it has to be a big brand name. Again, to me, it is. Can you get the person that everybody here at Penn State is on board with, and I don't mean the entire fan base because I don't think that's a possibility. I'm saying administratively and within the confines of the Penn State athletic department, everybody can get on board with and feel like, yep, we're all pulling again in the same direction, and it's the right direction. And you can get alignment with, yes, a GM and with an entire staff and all of this. Because, again, it's not just a head coaching hire that gets this thing over the finish line. It is getting everything in place and pulling in the same direction. And obviously it's going to start with the recruiting. I've given up, every day since James Franklin left, there are stories about, well, this guy decommitted and now this guy's committed over here. To me, I understand, and it's certainly worth reporting. I'm not faulting the folks that are reporting it. It's just that it's irrelevant and meaningless right now. The whole process is going to start over immediately upon the hiring of the new coach. And to that end, Goon, I don't think I'm reading between the lines a little bit, I guess, with these press conferences. I don't think Terry Smith has any interest in being the head coach here or anywhere else. I don't think that is his aspiration. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm not saying if Pat Kraft came to him and said, hey, Terry, $11 million a year, we want you to be the guy, that Terry's like, no, I'm good. I don't want any part of it. But one, I don't think that's going to happen. Because I think for that to happen, they're going to have to pull an upset in one of these next two games.
And I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I'm rooting for it, and I would love to see it, and I would love for that to be the dilemma that Pat Kraft has, is do we give it to this guy who's reeled off 5 straight wins, and including over the number 1 and 2 teams in the country, or do we go the Urban Meyer route, or do we go whoever else you want to throw out there? That would be a wonderful dilemma to have. Again, it's sports. I know crazy things happen. I don't see it, Goon. I don't see the scenario where this thing plays out for a Penn State victory in Columbus. And I'm not so sure I see it against Indiana either. Just, again, watching that Indiana team, and I know, again, UCLA, well, it got on a bit of a roll, if you will, with the Penn State game moving forward. That is not an elite team, obviously, in college football. But, man, Goon, they've been playing much better. And Indiana just made it look ridiculously easy on both sides of the ball. And I think there was a perception last year with Indiana that it was almost smoke and mirrors, like, hey, man, we got a quarterback that's doing special things and we can make some things happen. Listen, they do have a special quarterback, but Goon, watching this team, they are physical. Like, this is a team that I do think matches up with the Oregons, with the Ohio States, with the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world up front. Like, I think this is a legit title contending team this year. And I think they believe they are a title contending team, which is an important component. I don't think it's, I think last year there was, to a certain degree, it felt like, outside looking in, maybe it's not the right perception, but it sure felt like they were pretty darn happy to be in the playoffs. And I don't think, and again, from the outside looking in, they should have been. Like, that is a borderline miraculous accomplishment with the history of Indiana football to be one of the final 12 teams standing. But I get the feeling, Goon, this year, like that they believe that they should be winning a national title. I don't think it's going to be they get to the playoffs and like, ooh, this is cool, man. I love that we're here. I think it is, we have unfinished business. We need to go win the national championship. And I'm not saying they'll finish that and win it, but I'm not saying they won't either. I think they have the right mindset, and I think that is a much more talented team than a lot of people, including me, gave it credit for, certainly at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana, they were the one that were sitting there saying, was last year a fluke and this and that. And then you're right. I mean, as I said, I watched that UCLA game, and I was giving UCLA a lot of props. They had won 2 games in a row. They had a bye week. They're going to go Indiana. And I thought they could hold their own a little bit against Indiana. But Indiana just all over them on both sides of the ball quick. And, yes, I do think that team can contend for a national championship. Because they are balanced. They got a good defense and a good offense. I mean, when your offense is down, you need your defense to step up, and they can do that, and they have done that, and vice versa. Very good team. And then, I know we're talking about it, but, I mean, look at Iowa. I mean, I'm looking at the Iowa-Oregon game, which is next week, November 8th, the same day as our Indiana game.
Yep.
And I did not look at it. I don't know who Iowa plays this week. It might be a bye week for them. But what an unbelievable game they have coming up versus Oregon next Saturday. So Iowa is the team that I'm sitting there that we had played, and we played our you-know-what's off out there. I thought that they gave every ounce of effort that they had, and they really balled out there. But Iowa is a tough place to play, and that Iowa won that game rather than Penn State losing it, in my opinion. I'm looking at that team right now as being like, holy crap, man, we got to watch out for this team, because they are really, really good on both sides of the football. So, but Indiana was a stunning beating they gave UCLA on Saturday, and interesting to watch it. I thought UCLA would do a little bit more coming off of a bye week and then having some success, but they really didn't do it. But I don't know if it was them not doing it or Indiana just taking it from them and just. I have a friend at Indiana now, and he's getting cocky already. I'm like, dude, come on now. I mean, are we really getting cocky for Indiana? I mean, yeah, back-to-back number 2 in the country, and, I'm like still sitting there like, yeah, you're still Indiana and all that, but, yeah, you're having a great season, but they're stacking great seasons back-to-back now. That's going to be a real problem. And, would you call it an NIL team, Were they created because of the NIL and they came out of nowhere because of the NIL, or was it the Signetti perfect storm? He bought some players in from JMU, and he bought some real money guys in from the NIL deal. So, I mean, they're really, really came out of left field last year. But the fact that they're doing what they're doing this year, it means that we're here to stay. We're for real.
Yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. I think they are pretty much for as long as Signetti's there, Goon. It at least feels, and again, I know things can change either direction very quickly in college football, but man, it just feels like they have this thing rolling, and that they have a very clear understanding of who they are, what they want to do, and that it's not going to change anytime soon. And, this is the interesting thing now to me, Goon, because I've been talking about, like, for USC or for Washington and some of these other teams, like how difficult it is to work your way back up in the Big Ten because of the caliber of coaching, because of the programs that are already established. Well, now suddenly Penn State is on the outside looking in. And again, I think whoever the coach is, they're going to bring in somebody who will bring in some transfers from wherever they come from, or will get some transfers as a result of who they are. Like if it's, if you're going to dream big, and I've seen people, again, it is hilarious to me, the number of people that, well, if it's Matt Rule, then I'm out. If it's Urban Meyer, I'm out. If it's, well, again, why not wait and see, first of all, who it is, and then whoever it is, why not get behind them, support them, and see if this thing plays out in favor of Penn State and the program, both from a win-loss standpoint and also from an integrity standpoint. And I know that's the concern with some of the names being mentioned out there, like Urban Meyer. Again, hopefully, a couple of things on that front. One, hopefully you learn from past mistakes and transgressions. Secondly, again, we are in a new era of college football. If you're you're not aware, like some of the things that SMU gets the death penalty for now, it's like, well, yeah, that's standard operating procedure. So I think it's hard sometimes also to get your mind around, like, at least for some people out there, that we've banished or tarnished their reputations in football or basketball. It's like, well, yeah, but the stuff that we banished or tarnished them for is now completely oakley-dokley with everybody in the NCAA. So I think you got to come to terms with some of this stuff too.
I'm still never going to be on board with the NIL stuff, because it's like, I would rather just pay the players, and you know that. I don't want to go down that route unless you want to, but you know my feeling. And that was, Joe was talking about it 30, 40 years ago. Pay the guys a salary, give them $5,000. In 1995, $5,000 a month would have cost your team, $60,000. So $6 million is what it would have cost Penn State football for all of their football players to have $5,000 a month salary. I mean, that would be more than our dads were making back in the 80s. You know what I mean? I mean, come on now. And then now probably up to $10,000. So you're making $120,000 on top of your scholarship, and there's not, and then that can be regulated. That's where I think the problem is that the kids are just going to go to the best buy, the highest bidder now. So again, I always go back to what I say about James Franklin. People always say he's a great recruiter, but the days of recruiting are over. The recruiting now is, hey, how much? What do you want? How much do you want? How much are we? I mean, what would you play for? That's recruiting nowadays, and it's insane to think about it like that, but it's true. And you got to have guys who are making money. You got to have the big talent players, but then you also have to have culture guys and guys who fit your program and what you're trying to do, and who can monitor your locker room and keep guys in line. I mean, I don't think you have that. It's just so much in the air right now of who is what. And you've heard me say this. I said, who's running the locker room now? I know in the NFL, the guys who run the locker room, the guys who make the most money. Is that sometimes your best leader? Hell no. No, sometimes it's your most selfish player on the team. Is the guy making the most money, and that's who people are looking up to as their leader of that team. That's not true. Your leaders are the guys who are there on Saturday when the coaches aren't there and doing this and doing that. And yeah, I've talked to you before about O.J. McDuffie and Jeff Hardings. They're two of the best offensive linemen I played with and the best football player I played with is O.J. McDuffie. But guess what? Those two worked their asses off in the offseason and in practice and this and that. So they led by example, but we're also the best players. But, I don't know. I don't know the locker room dynamic right now. I don't know who's running it. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying, though, about the locker room?
Yeah. No, I think it's an important component. And, Goon, I guess it remains perplexing to me, because it does feel like the leadership part was there. Now, again, maybe it wasn't. I'm still not sure that anybody has a real handle on what went wrong here. Like, we've had people weighing in here, wow, they just weren't nearly as talented as everybody was making them out to be. And it's like, well, okay, but I mean, these guys did get to the semifinals last year and were on their way to a drive that could have won them the game. I'm having a hard time buying the, yep, they're just devoid of talent argument. I'm also, again, the leadership. I mean, we've talked about Nick Dawkins a lot. I think, again, maybe something was missing there overall. We've talked about Aller and Singleton, and interesting that the leadership, the captains anyway, didn't come from maybe where you would expect on this team. But again, going into this season, I don't know that you necessarily looked at that as a bad thing. It's like, man, they maybe have so much leadership that, but whether something just has gone haywire, and maybe it's multiple things, maybe it's not a specific thing, but I think it has to be terribly frustrating for everybody within that program right now to not be able to have a handle on, all right, let's go turn this thing around. Now, maybe they do. Maybe the bye week was well utilized. It sounds like Terry Smith was pleased with the energy, the attitude, and all of that, and that they, have implemented some new things offensively. Man, maybe we see a team that just goes out and turns it on here against Ohio State and Indiana. Going into these games, Goon, I'm just not optimistic about that, because primarily of the inability to get things established along the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball. And I just don't think that's something that an extra week of practice ahead of a team who has it rolling in terms of the line play, or ahead of two teams that have it rolling in terms of the line play. I'd love to see it play out. I mean, I'm rooting like crazy for it. I will be absolutely shocked. Like, I will be shocked if Penn State even holds its own on the line of scrimmage in either of these next two games.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend is going to be really tough out there. I mean, we've already known how hard it is to play out there. I mean, we talked about Grunk having his first start at Iowa, and his second start's going to be at the Horseshoe. I mean, the Horseshoe has dropped a lot of dudes, man. I'm an optimistic guy, very optimistic when it comes to my team, and you are too, to a certain extent. But I mean, yeah, nothing out there has been shown to me that they're going to go out there and dominate the line of scrimmage on offense or defense. And that's, that could be a scary, scary time out there, because I go back to Ryan Day and Jim Knowles leaving, Ohio State coming here. Is there a revenge factor out there with Ohio State, wanting to pitch a shutout and then just smoking our offense, and then with their new D coordinator, and then Ryan Day, I wouldn't, you tell me if you think he's going to run the score up, and the answer is absolutely he's going to try and run the score up on Jim Knowles. There's no doubt in my mind he would want to hang a half 100 to 100 on Jim Knowles. Just like one of those spiteful things, like, well, you left us type of thing. I mean, I can just see Day just being that snarky about it. I mean, I think you would too. Yeah, it scares the living daylights out of me, but I'm going out there with a bunch of fans and stuff like that, and ex-players, and I'm going out there with the attitude like, hey, let's just go out there and have fun. I mean, I hope that these guys go out there with that same attitude, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I go out there before, and I'm always like, oh, we got a chance. Now, I don't think we have a chance, but watch, just something crazy might happen within the next 2 weeks. If that team gives that effort that they did against Iowa, I'm okay with this team. I don't want them quitting and coming up like what they showed up against Northwestern. I don't want that team to ever show up here again, ever.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what transpires here over the next couple of weeks, what the reaction is, both from the team, what the reaction is from the fan base. I'm really curious to see how the fans respond. Let's say this thing is that, you feel good about the effort, but that they're just overmatched. And let's say it's like a 38-20 type of loss on Saturday. What is the the fan reaction when they come out for the Indiana game? I do think is going to be interesting as well, because you can't boo Drew Aller now, and you can't boo James Franklin. And I mean, you can't be booing Gronk in his third start. You can't be booing Terry Smith, who's trying to hold this thing together on your behalf. So, but you're going to be frustrated if Indiana jumps out 21-0. Well, what do you do with that frustration? Or do you just walk out of the stadium and say, the heck with it? This is, I don't know. I'm really curious to see, especially if this is a loss and isn't an inspired effort, meaning like a 3-point game, that's Ohio State wins it and wins it fairly convincingly. I am just curious to see what the fan reaction and fan response is with the Indiana game then the following week.
Yeah, and I think that the fans will show up. The ones who don't want to be here won't be here. The ones who are just so displeased by everything. But yeah. I know Penn State culture. They're going to rally around this team, and they're going to rally around Terry Smith. With that said, what you just said hit the nail on the head, and that is they go down 21-0 in the first quarter, you're going to hear the boo birds. There's no doubt about it. And much as we love our Letterman and Terry Smith and this and that and this team, they go out and do an uninspired down 21-0 quick. Those boos are going to start raining down on this team. And you're right. Do they leave? I don't know. I hope that they would, and I hope that they would give Terry the respect that he deserves as being the guy taking this over. I mean, it's not an easy job to take this over and, trying to run it the same way that James was and keep these guys together. My hat is off to Terry. He did a great job against Iowa, get those guys ready to go. It's a shame that they lost, but I'm telling you right now, Iowa is much better than we're giving them credit for. So if Terry can get these guys rocking and rolling up and ready to play against Indiana or against Ohio State this week, then, again, stranger things have happened. I talk about the ball bouncing our way. It hasn't done that. It hasn't gone against Ohio State. Maybe it bounces against them or our way a couple times Saturday, and you just never know. I'm holding that thought out, but
yep.
Yes, the Indiana game is going to be very important for our fan base. And I want to ask you before we go to break here, and that is, don't you think that if it was a non-football coach, the decision would have been made already about our coach?
I don't know about that. The in-season stuff is I think makes it more challenging, and now with the number of jobs that are opening up, more and high-profile jobs at that, this becomes a fascinating coaching search. Because again, not just Penn State, but like what direction does Florida go? What direction does LSU go? Even like a Virginia Tech, and how many other teams are going to join this course? Florida State is, I think, going to be fascinating situation to watch, depending on how things finish up here at USC. I mean, you have the potential for 5, 6, maybe more. I would say high profile, high pressure, but also highly coveted jobs that could open up. Yeah. Where does Penn State? I know there's been a lot of national discussion on what's the best job out there. Florida, Penn State, LSU. I think it depends what you're looking for. It depends what your history is. I was watching, I think it was Feinbaum was like, well, obviously Florida, because you try recruiting in State College versus Florida, the weather and all of this stuff. It's like, well, I think there's more to the equation than weather. Can it help? Sure. But do I think that the top recruit in the country is, man, I could go to Penn State or Florida. Well, sunshine, going to Florida. No, I think, again, I don't think it's just the NIL stuff either, to your point earlier. I think you've got to be competitive, and you've got to be, you can't be offering $50,000 when everybody else is offering $300,000. But if you're offering $200 and the Joe down the street is offering $230, but you're like, listen, we can network better here for you if football doesn't work out. The coach we have has a track record of getting guys to the NFL if it does work out, and you stay healthy. Like that, I think there's a lot of things that still factor in above and beyond the NIL and the weather in terms of where kids go and how programs can or may not succeed. We'll take a break here. I do want to get into a couple of other discussions. Certainly want to talk about some of the wrestling from over the weekend. Maybe that's the direction we'll go next, just because I want to make sure we get into some of that. Also, what an epic Game 3! I got to tell you my personal story about that and the viewing of said game last night and into the wee hours this morning. So we'll kick all of that around and more. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA Sports Authority. WFXS America. 98.7 The Fox. State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on a Tuesday afternoon, and busy weekend on the wrestling front. We had the Real American Freestyle 2 event up at the Bryce Jordan Center. It was an interesting event. I'll talk about that here in just a moment. And, of course, the United States ends up first in the team standings at the Under-23 World Championships, in no small measure because of the contributions of the Penn State and Nittany Lion Wrestling Club members. 7 Penn State wrestlers in the comprising the 10-man Team USA squad that competed. And the United States ends up with 4 golds, including Jackson Forrest, the high school senior to be at Bishop McCourt, and the Oklahoma State commit, along with Penn State's Luke Lillidahl, Mitchell Messenbrink, and Levi Haynes. And, of course, P.J. Duke also earning bronze for the United States, the true freshman now at Penn State. And, Goon, it just Casey Cunningham had put out on social media the fun little nugget that if you look at Team USA in the Senior World Championships, the Under-23 and the Under-20 teams this year, 15 of the 30 spots were occupied by Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and or Penn State wrestlers. And those 15 wrestlers in those 3 different events earned 11 medals, including 6 golds, which is just truly astounding. We've never seen anything quite like this in USA Wrestling history. And I saw somebody make the comment. I think it was an Iowa fan, although I could be wrong about that. But the fan was like, "Oh no, Josh Barr, if you didn't see, got hurt. Still not sure the extent of the injury there for Josh Barr, but he was unable to continue to competing. Got hurt in the second match." And somebody posted, "Oh, this could be a big blow for Penn State in the upcoming season if Josh Barr can't go, because what is Penn State going to do? They're going to have to just throw out that Connor Mirasola fella."
Yeah, not a bad guy.
That's the position that Penn State Wrestling finds itself in, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I gotta ask.
Showing, yeah.
I gotta ask. So all of those 30 spots were earned, right? It's not Little League All Stars when Kale's making the decision and picking all of his guys. Correct. These were wrestled to the point where they won the U.S. title and they were number 1 in their rank, and then they went to wrestle. Yep, insane.
That is exactly right. Yeah,
wow.
It is. It is. And listen, what has become really interesting to follow is like a guy like P.J. Duke competed in both senior nationals and under 23. And so you have these guys now that are good enough at young ages that they're competing at, the next level up, basically, from where they are. Even a guy, like Jackson Forrest or P.J. Duke, again, they're under 20, but they're out there competing for the spot on the senior team and competing in the senior world championships, competing in the under 23 championships. It is such a wild and different world than what I've been accustomed to until the last, probably 10 years, maybe even just the last 5 years in terms of the number of guys now that we're seeing at young ages stepping in and trying to compete. Well, not trying, and competing against senior level talent. And from the Penn State perspective, what is really neat to me, Goon, is that, all of these guys are obviously very accomplished on the wrestling front. And Mitchell Messenbrink beat the to where I was going with that point is like Mitchell Messenbrink beats the senior world champion. Mitchell didn't make the Team USA, but he beats the world champion, the senior world champion, in the semifinals of this 123 event, proving that, America is pretty deep at a bunch of these weights, as well as having, at least a top level guy. So when you look at Penn State Wrestling, though, again, very talented, but what is as impressive to me, Goon, is just when you listen to these guys interviewed and you listen to what is important to them and what it is that they take the time to use the platform they have to say. And there were a couple of people that pointed this out, but Mitchell Messenbrink, after winning the world championship, all right, you're the best in the world, and you're kind of a big deal. You're a national champion, you're a world champion, and Mitchell Messenbrink, in that moment, takes the time to thank his professors at Penn State for allowing him to miss some class time and make it up when he gets back, to allow him the opportunity to chase his dream and compete on this world stage. I don't know. Maybe it's happened before. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've listened to every press conference at every World Wrestling Championship. I don't think it's very often that we've had wrestlers take the time to thank their professors from the university for allowing them to have some time off from class to go chase their dreams. That is pretty unique, pretty special stuff.
You know the kid. He is a pretty unique, special kid, right?
He is very.
I mean, I've met him a couple times, and both times been very, very respectful. I mean, you're looking at him, it's like talking to David or talking to Knopf and those guys. It's like they have it and they know it, but they're also very personable people. But he's also very, he understands the surroundings. You know what I mean? Each time I met him, it was really, really good. He was really good and very like I said. And you can see that when his interviews come out. But I'm on the track of, I have never heard an athlete say thank you to their professors for giving them the time off to go and compete. I have never heard of that. It's actually awesome and a good, it puts a little feather in Penn State's cap, in my opinion. Another one in Kale's hat. So,
yeah, the maturity of these guys, again, across the board. And listen, there's exceptions to every rule, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you everybody is just saints, but the maturity of these guys, and I think one of the things that is emblematic of it is the number of guys, like both Mitchell and Levi got married over the past year. And I want to be clear, I'm not telling you that you have to get married to be mature or to be a good person or all of that.
Look what happened to you, Jeff.
But what I will tell you, it does show to me a very healthy set of priorities. Like if you are in a relationship in college and you feel good enough about it that, yep, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and you're willing to make that kind of a commitment, you're not the knucklehead that I was in college. Like you're not out there messing around with all kinds of different things. And by the way, I'm not here to that you're wasting your life if you're doing that and you're in college. Not my point. My point is these guys really have a very healthy perspective, a very healthy and an uncommon maturity at their age, again, above and beyond what they're doing on the wrestling mat. Obviously, it takes a tremendous commitment to be able to succeed in this sport at that level. But what it tells me is that these guys are committed in all aspects of their life. If they're getting married at this stage, and they, you talk to them, and a lot of them have at least a pretty clear idea of what it is they want to do moving forward, whether it's getting into coaching, whether it's moving on to business opportunities, whatever it may be, that they at least have, and again, obviously things can change, but that they really are thoughtful individuals, and they are living very clearly lives with purpose, like that they have a clear vision of what their purpose is during their time here on Earth. And it is a unique thing, the culture that they have developed there, the seriousness with which they take the sport, but more so take their opportunity in life here. And I think it is worth celebrating. Again, not just the athletic accomplishments. In fact, I'd argue the athletic accomplishments, as great as they are, and they are phenomenal, are actually probably the thing I'm least celebrating about that room right now, because it's just the character of the guys that they have and the impact they want to make above and beyond the sport with their lives. And it's just it is very inspiring to be around and to watch it unfold. And again, you watch those guys, and they are gracious in victory, but we saw an example just this past NCAA tournament with Levi Haynes, and he's gracious in defeat as well. So it's not again, it's one of those things when things are going well in life, it's a little easier to I'm a generous person. Well, are you generous when things aren't going as well, when you're having to really scrape things together? Are you, again, it's easy to be committed when you're getting the results you want. A little harder to convince yourself that, man, I need to keep working my tail off when you're not getting the rewards from that hard work. But I think we saw with the number of third place finishes last year at the NCAA tournament, with the way Levi Haynes has responded this offseason, Luke Lillidahl has responded this offseason. I mean, they are living what they preach. It's not just words that they throw out there, and it's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to be grateful, and it's going to be fun when you're winning. Well, that they've had some losses, and they've come back from them, and they're still grateful, they're still appreciative, and they're still working their tails off and having fun doing the sport that they love. I don't know. It's just cool to watch. It's cool to be around and to see.
It's such a sport. It's a dedicated sport year round. You have to be completely dedicated. Like, I'm a high school kid back in 1991. I'm a knucklehead. I'm just like every other, this and that. But the wrestling kids, I truly believe that they have to grow up so much faster, because it is such a disciplined sport. You have to manage your weight. You have to manage your time. You're not wrestling if you're overweight. So you got to have that under control. And to be 18, 17, 16, 22 years old and know all this. So the Mirasola twins, I had them on the show a couple weeks ago. I mean, they know exactly what they want to do in life. And that's coach. Coach. What a coach. I want to stay here and coach. You know what I mean? And it's great, because I was talking to them, Jeff, and they said, and I said, what was it like when Kale called? And they were like, it's all that mattered. All that mattered, man, is that they just wanted that phone call from him. They were waiting for it. They got it, and they were like, we're in. They had worked their whole lives for that one phone call from him. And I was like, what was it like? And they just still held Kale in awe. And and his staff. I mean, Kale is not, you have said it in the past, and you can tell by the way you talk to these kids of how much they love the whole staff. That whole room is dedicated, committed, and they hold each other accountable and stuff like that. They challenge each other, like you say, but they also hold each other accountable. You're not pulling your weight, you're going to hear about it. And then if you're not pulling your weight, there's 4 guys behind you who would gladly take your spot.
Yeah, no question about that. And it again, it's just it is impressive, and it is if you're a Penn State fan, you just need to sit back, enjoy it, appreciate it, and hope that it lasts a while longer. It certainly doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. But again, it's not. I get that it's about the winning, and that's why the accolades are afforded the program. But I'm just telling you that the caliber of person up and down that room right now is just very, very special, and they're coming from special families.
Jeff, I have a question. Are those paid titles? Like, do they get a purse for winning any of those titles or anything like that?
They do. I don't know what it is now. I can find that
that's
out.
Obviously new, right?
There's always been some financial reward involved there.
Even if you were
not for
the guys that are still wrestling, like David, if he won the under 23 back in the day, he could get money.
Not in college. No,
okay.
Not in college.
But the college kids can now get that purse, right?
Yes. Horace says, I heard you mention the World Series. I'm assuming the Pirates have made it. Don't worry, your friendly neighborhood parade correspondent will report to your next show or to your show next week if our beloved Buccos can pull off the win. Well, Tyler Glass now was pitching last night, so I think the Pirates, man, I tell you, Goon, that was – so I have to tell you my story about it. So I'm flipping around. I am it drives my wife absolutely bonkers. And so we pretty much, I need to go watch the game somewhere where she's not, or games. She does not like or appreciate the channel flipping. I am a passionate channel flipper. And so last night I was in heaven. I'm flipping back and forth between the mighty Penguins, who get the big 6-3 win ahead of the Blues, setting up a rout later today in Philadelphia as they'll continue to roll. More on that coming up. But I'm watching the Penguins, I'm watching the Chiefs and the Commanders, and I'm watching the World Series. And Penguins win. Sidney Crosby gets to 1,700 points for his career. 9th player to hit that milestone. Fabulous stuff, and I'm exhausted. I really don't remember even what I think it was 4-3 when the last time I checked in on the World Series, but pretty much that Penguins game ended, and I'm like, I'm out, and I went to sleep, and I wake up, and at about 2:30 in the morning, I'm on the couch, and I'm just mindlessly flipping around, and I think I actually hit the back arrow, and the World Series was the last thing before the Penguins. And so I go to Fox, and I'm like, oh, man, they must be replaying the World Series game. This is cool. I don't know yet who won. And so I'm kind of looking at it, and they go to commercial break. And as they're going to commercial break, I'm like, did that say 17th inning? Or was that 7th? That looked like 17. And I'm starting to I'm still half groggy, but I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wait a second, is this actually still live? And I'm starting to think through. I'm like, well, Fox doesn't usually replay the games overnight. They have other programming. I'm like, wait a second. And they come back, and it's like, we go to the top of the 18th. I'm like, holy smokes, this is live. And this thing is still going. And I stayed and watched the Freddie Freeman home run to end it. So I did not see again, I saw off and on parts of probably the first 6 or 7 innings, and then I saw nothing until the 18th inning, and again, saw Freeman's home run. There are so many things. When we talk about epic or instant classic, that thing was for a number of different reasons. First of all, 18-inning World Series game, that gets you into instant classic and special stuff right out of the gate. But then you look at Freddie Freeman, of course. Who else comes up with the clutch home run to walk it off for the Dodgers? And I know it must get tiresome to non-baseball folks to hear about Shohei Ohtani all the time. Goon, I mean, is there any doubt now? Like, I know there are people that are passionate and loved, whether it's Ted Williams or Babe Ruth. Certainly, I think most would hold up over the years as the best player, all-around player in baseball history. But, you'd hear Ted Williams or Hank Aaron or Willie Mays. You get different names thrown in there as, man, you ought to at least consider this guy. I don't think there's any question now as to who you have to put down as the greatest all-around baseball player ever. And I heard a couple of discussions over the weekend. This is before last night's game. And if you're, somehow in a bubble and have not heard about what Shohei Ohtani did last night, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, that's in his first 4 at-bats. And then the Blue Jays are like, yeah, that's enough of that. And they walk him the next 5 times. Now, a couple weren't intentional walks per se, but they were being very, very careful, and I think that'll be the case for the remainder of the series. But the dude goes safely on base 9 times in a World Series game. That is the most. 9 times safely on base is the most in a major league game, period. Anytime, anywhere, and not many have done it. This guy, obviously the first to do it. Nobody had been on base safely more than 6 times in a World Series game. And 6 times is ridiculous, Goon. This guy goes 7, 8, 9 times safely on base. And when you look at all of the home runs, I mean, he has surpassed Mr. October with the postseason theatrics. It is just, you run out of the proper descriptive words when talking about the greatness of Shohei Ohtani. We have just never, ever seen anything like this.
In any sport. We have never seen anything like that. I know in my lifetime I never have, nor will I ever. I mean, he's the kid. Like, we all grew up with, like, a great baseball player. You're pretty sure you could probably name yours. You know what I mean? We had Andy Carter in our little league baseball. We had a guy like Andy Carter, goes to pitches for the Phillies back in the day, all that stuff. He was the best hitter. He was the best pitcher. Jack Stanzak for my high school, Gene Shaw for my high school. These guys were pitchers, and then they would go bat. And then they would hit home runs. This is at the major league level that he's doing this. Yeah. Like in Little League, I understand because you're the best player, you're the best athlete, so you're the strongest arm and you're the strongest bat. So I can get that. High school, same thing. You're doing that in the college, it's amazing. You're doing that in the minor leagues, it's amazing. He's doing that in the Major League Baseball, in the highest, the biggest show in the world as being the World Series. And he is dominating that. His last 2 games at Dodger Stadium, 7 for 7, 5 home runs, 7 walks. It's unbelievable. And then he's going to pitch tonight. And then he's going to, he did what he did last night, which was unbelievable as a hitter. 9 times safely on base. Wasn't 8 out of 9. It was 9 out of 9 times that he came to the plate. He got to first base at least. That's unbelievable. And then you're going to back that up with, oh, by the way, he's pitching tonight now. And he's going to have 9 strikeouts. He's going to strike somebody. He's going to strike 9 of them, 10 of them out. He's probably going to hit another home run or 2 if they pitch to him. If they even pitch to him.
I don't think
he'll be walked again the night 4 times. So he'll be on base 13 straight times safely in the World Series.
Yeah, it is.
In any sport, I have never seen. I watched Michael Jordan. You watched Michael Jordan. He's the most dominant basketball player I've ever seen. But what this guy is doing is so unheard of in any sport. Any sport. It's amazing. But I don't know who the hell do you compare him to? Babe Ruth?
Yeah, but I mean, what he is doing now surpasses anything Babe Ruth did, and it's hard to compare eras and all of that. We've talked about this over the years. I mean, I can appreciate, and I do love reading the stories about Babe Ruth. It feels like it's almost a fictional character for me, right? Like I never saw him, so like there's not. I can't truly appreciate. I think the way you can when you see something before your eyes, right? Like it's the same thing. Jim Thorpe. I grew up just idolizing Jim Thorpe, but I mean, it's kind of same thing. It's like, well, I never saw him in person, obviously compete. I still think, I still place him as the greatest all-around athlete, period, who ever lived. But that's such a subjective, and again, you can look at that a number of different ways. But there's just when you see, so I mean, can I fairly compare? I mean, you can compare the numbers, but the thing to me, Goon, is with all of these sports, just like with most of life, like it is harder, it is more competitive now than it was in Babe Ruth's era. We know more now, like there are more people doing all of the right things in terms of sleep, nutrition, training, and all of that, so that to separate yourself the way, and Goon, you read, I mean, Babe Ruth just trained 24/7. He was all about just making sure peak fitness. Listen, sometimes it's just natural talent, right? But what Ohtani has is obviously some amazing God-given ability, but also a work ethic and a competitive, and that's the thing to me, Goon. You saw he was a little frustrated before he had before last night, the greatest thing we'd ever seen in postseason baseball performance. What led to that was he was a little frustrated that he wasn't hitting the home runs and getting the great contact in the game before. And you listen to some of the Dodgers talk about it, and it was like, yeah, we knew this was coming because he was so dialed in, because he wanted to show that, yeah, this was, what he's really capable of. Well, we're seeing what he's really capable of, and it is just almost impossible to believe that you are seeing what we are seeing in terms of being so dominant as a pitcher. And then, I mean, dominant isn't even, I mean, we're seeing Barry Bonds plus.
That's what I was just going to say.
But without the steroids.
Yeah. Like Barry Bonds, he would see 4 pitches a game. Pitches.
Yeah.
Pitches. They would throw around him, and he would get maybe 4 pitches that's to swing at. And he would knock 2 of them out of the park. I mean, I thought that was amazing. I thought I would never see anything like that in my life, but we all know how that was, what was responsible for that. But you still got to put the bat to the ball. I understand that. It's a big thing. But I can't even compare what Ohtani is doing as a hitter. We're not even talking about the pitching yet. Like, as a hitter, it's just unbelievable. It's like watching like a Major League Baseball player playing single A baseball for the Spikes. It's like, it's unbelievable what I'm watching, and I just cannot believe it. And I have nothing to compare it to. Nothing. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, in wrestling, is there something? In football, is like, what do? Are you the quarterback and the middle linebacker, and you lead the league in interceptions, and you throw the most touchdowns? I mean, it's just unfreaking heard of what he's doing. I mean, we'll never see it, have never seen it, will never see it. Now, the question I have is what I said earlier about like the kids growing up at being the pitcher, and then they take him out, and then he's the DH or he's the hitter. Then they bring somebody else in, but he's the best hitter and the best pitcher of the team. By college, they're already breaking those guys apart. Do you think that, like, because people are watching Ohtani, that they're going to let some of these pitchers bat? Like this guy can hit.
I hope that is the case. I do hope that is something that comes from what we're witnessing.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like when people say like, "Oh, well, I got to specialize in baseball." I'm not playing football anymore. Bull crap. You got to play all the sports, in my opinion. But with baseball, it's always like, okay, you're our starting pitcher, so you're not going to bat anymore. Like, no. Like, I'm a hell of a hitter. I'm a great hitter. Why am I not batting? Yeah. I hope and pray that we sort of get back to that a little bit, and that is having the guys who pitch and play the field normal days. I mean, he's changing the game. He's changing the sports world. I mean, there's not a more dominant athlete in the world right now. I can't think of anybody in the world.
I'm with you. It is it is just hard to put into perspective how truly groundbreaking what he is doing is. And again, he's just doing it at such an unheard of high level and with such consistency that we've just never seen anything like it. All right, we'll take a break here, and we will continue. We'll get back to some football talk. This is shaping up to be not the way we were hoping, but a really special college football season, and I do want to talk about some of what we're seeing throughout the sport here, and how different this playoff may look compared to what most were projecting at the start of the season. A lot of teams in there that, at the moment anyway, that nobody had as playoff teams, and a couple of them that I think most would say, probably not a playoff contender back at the start of the season, but still have a ways to go. We got to see how it all plays out. We'll kick that around a little bit as we continue. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back on this Tuesday afternoon as we get ready for Penn State, Ohio State here on Saturday noon kickoff. Big noon kickoff on Fox in Columbus. Ohio State, of course, number 1, Indiana. Just as everybody thought, sitting there at number 2 this late in the season.
Hey,
Good,
Jeff, real quick.
Yeah.
I had Guy Gadowski on the show last night, so if anybody wants to listen to it, go to the bluewhiteplayershow.com. He was absolutely awesome. I know you know Guy. I love Guy. But he was telling me, he goes, Goon, the way the season was shaping up, he goes, we're playing out there Thursday and Friday. They're playing Ohio State. And he goes, we were going to go out there. It was going to be 1 versus 2 in the country. He goes, we had it set up where we were going to surprise the guys. Like, hey, we're going to stay for the football game, you know what I mean, the extra night, and go to the game. And then he goes, well, those plans changed a lot over the last few weeks. And I was like, yeah, it was, a lot of stuff has changed in the last few weeks. So great interview, just an awesome guy. I love talking to him. I could sit there for days talking to him, as you well know. Everything is going great for him, but, you know, so that's the Guy thing. But, yeah, the Indiana thing is just like, where? I mean, it was supposed to be us this week going 1 versus 2, you know? This was the big game, undefeated going into this game, maybe undefeated, and to see what has happened to this program and where we're at right now is just, we're talking about Ohtani being mind-boggling. Like, this is unbelievable. It's ridiculous to me. How what we're talking about right now, and searching for a coach and who's going to come coach this team, and are we going to go on a 6-game losing streak? Are we not going to make a bowl game? I mean, just think about this. 3 months ago, Jeff, when we were talking, 2 months ago, when we were talking about, it blows my mind completely.
Yeah, truly incomprehensible is what has happened here.
And you got the question, what's going on up there? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. I honest to God, I mean, I hear stories of this or that going on, but I'm like, that really shouldn't affect that. Like, I don't understand. This is just a complete meltdown for that football program.
Well, and listen, so let's stay with that a little bit. And yeah, I don't know either, and I have a bunch of people, and there's all kinds of different theories. I have, some thoughts on what I think might have contributed to it, but I don't know. I don't know that there is an explanation for how you go from where this team was at the end of last year, on the cusp of playing for a national title, to letting your coach go in danger of, having a 4-game losing streak would have been 4 games would have been thought of as not possible. I would have told you it's not possible with this schedule laying out the way it is this season. Maybe they could lose back-to-back games somewhere along the way, but the potential here for 6 or more, by the way, is just, again, it's hard to get your head around. But the things have not come off the rails to the same degree with Texas, and Florida State didn't have quite the same expectations at the start of the season. But I think fair to say there's a lot of disappointment surrounding those programs. We'll see. It looks like Notre Dame's back on track here, but we'll see again how everything finishes out. This season is just, and I think this is going to be some of what we see moving forward, Goon, where I really thought that with the NIL stuff, all it was going to do was widen that gap between the haves and the have-nots, and that the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, and yes, the Penn States and the Florida States and the Texases were just going to be the ones that got the big pot of money, shared it, and everybody else would fall by the wayside. But when you look at what is actually happening, is because there are pockets of money here and there are teams and programs, and maybe they don't go in for the long haul, but it's like, hey, we think we can get a number of investors together and make a run here or there. And there's others, again, I think Indiana is being built here for the long haul. Texas Tech with the way they have resources. They're going all in. But what's neat to see, Goon, is you have a Vanderbilt, you have a Georgia Tech. We have teams that are making a real run here at the playoffs. A BYU, which looked really good this past weekend. You have a lot of teams that I know Virginia did not look great, and I'm still not sold that they're actually a contender. But at the moment, they're still sitting there with 1 loss. And if they win out, and I think that's very unlikely, but if they win out, they could work themselves into being a playoff team. It is wild to me, the world that we're living in, where you at least have the potential of a playoff that will not have a Texas, a Florida State, or a Penn State, but will have a Vanderbilt, a Georgia Tech, maybe an Indiana as a number 1 overall seed before this thing is said and done. And listen, at the end of the day, the reason we love college football, it's still there. It is the passion, and it is the idea that, man, on any given Saturday, you don't know what you're going to see. And I'm sorry, these stories with the BYUs and the Georgia Techs being undefeated, and a team like Vanderbilt looking like it could make a real run here. Again, we'll see how it finishes out. They still have plenty of work to do to actually become a playoff team. But, they're sitting there at 7-1, and they're with that quarterback, I think they're going to be in every game, or have a shot going into every week. It's fun. This is, again, not fun specifically for Penn State fans. I understand, and I'm with you. But the sport, man, this is fun to watch.
Yeah, this past weekend, I could not believe. I still am amazed that Texas won and Alabama won those games. The way that they were being, the way that was going down, and you were just watching, Alabama get their loss, and you were watching Texas get a 4th loss, and you're sitting there. I'm just thinking Sark's done. They're going to fire him they're going to give him the Brian Kelly treatment if they lost that game. But lo and behold, they go back and win that game and may have saved his career at Texas. Who knows? They may move on. I don't know. But you know that I said Clemson and Texas are sending flowers to Penn State saying thank you so much for taking the heat off of us nationally, because and LSU is in that party now too, of teams that were expected to be in the playoff, and they're already out. They're done. There's no shot. I mean, and that's what also gets me mad is I know I'm going back to it and like how it went down and when James got fired and stuff like that. They were still in it with one loss. And then the effort that they gave against UCLA and Northwestern was the reason why we had to move on. It was done. But the fact that that was the effort that they got against UCLA, that knowing that you can get into the playoffs with 2 losses, and they still went out and played that bad and did what they did. It just blows my mind. Just absolutely blows it. Like 2 losses, Notre Dame is doing exactly what we should have been doing. You know, they were out of the top 25 week 4. You know, they rallied the troops. They rallied everybody. They said, okay, we're going to win out and we're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to build the momentum. And they're going to go into the playoffs hot as hell. And they have 2 losses. And then we had a loss versus Oregon and just folded the tents. My mind is absolutely blown because that was the 80s, 90s mentality in the 2000s and the 2015s. 1 loss and you're done. You know, that was it. I mean, you were not going to play for a national title. You couldn't make there's 12 freaking teams making the playoffs. We would have got in with 2 losses. Possibly a 3rd loss, even in the Big Ten title. If you go to the Big Ten title and lose it, we could have gotten into the playoff with 3 losses. And then to be where we're at right now is unbelievable. It's unfathomable. I cannot believe what happened in the last 3 months here. And I'm sorry I had to go back to that, but watching that Texas, watching that Alabama game, you know, down 17 points in the 4th quarter, and then you come back and tie it and win it, like that takes a lot of inner fortitude from those guys and that coaching staff to do that. You know, you don't know if it was South Carolina collapsing or whatnot, but it happened, and those teams won those games when they really shouldn't have. Again, the old Joe Paterno, you got to win the games you're not supposed to, and ball's not going your way. You win that game, you have a special team. You know, that's just what they're going down that. Alabama's going down that road. They should not have won that game, and they did. So there's all kinds of momentum building right there. Watch out for them. But, I mean, to be where we're at right now, Texas in the same boat, but they still have their coach. Florida, LSU, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Texas could still come back and get in the playoffs. And if you get in the playoffs, I mean, at least theoretically, they could go on and they'll
save Sarkisian's job because I think he would have been fired on the tarmac had they lost that game the other night.
Well, and again, it's interesting because each week is kind of a snapshot. We still got to see how this stuff plays out. I mean, the potential is there for this to be, as we sit here today, like it is possible. Like, let this just sink in a little bit. And again, I don't think it's going to play out that all of these teams that I'm mentioning are in. Maybe that none of these teams I'm about to mention are in. But the idea that we're here getting ready to make the turn into November, and we still have a distinct possibility that Louisville, Cincinnati, Vanderbilt, Indiana, Georgia Tech could all be playoff teams. And we know definitively at this point that Penn State won't be, Florida State won't be, Clemson won't be. Again, we'll see. LSU. Texas obviously could still work its way back in.
LSU is out.
Oh, yes, LSU definitively out. It is.
Think about that. Lee Corso, my friend is an LSU guy. He called me on the first game that was Lee Corso's retirement party. Lee Corso picked Penn State versus LSU in the final game.
Yeah.
That's how high we were both held.
Well, and again, things can change so quickly. you cannot help but be impressed with what Mike Elko is doing with Texas A&M. I thought, again, I know from the LSU perspective, well, Brian Kelly's a bomb and all of this. I am telling you, Texas A&M played one whale of a football game on Saturday night. That is, you talk about Iowa being a tough place to play, and it is. The night games at Kinnick are tough. That is outside of maybe the whiteout, and I'm not sure even that the whiteout is tougher than a game at LSU at night. To go in there and, again, not just win that game, and, LSU knew the importance of it. I don't think it was a lack of effort or anything like that from LSU's standpoint. I mean, Texas A&M just laid it to them. And, again, you go back to the line play, I am really impressed with what A&M has going right now. To me, at this point, and, it's important where you're at this point, but this isn't the end all be all. So it's all right, who's playing best at the end of the year? But right now, to me, Ohio State is clearly the team to beat. Yep. But I think Indiana and A&M, I mean, they're I think properly ranked 2 and 3. Like, those are the two teams that it feels like at the moment, if it's not Ohio State this year, it's going to be one of them that jumps in there. Right? And again, I know some of these other teams, Oregon, I think, is a team that can work itself there, but the consistency of those top 3 has been very, very impressive to me this year. Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. Again, BYU sitting there undefeated, Georgia Tech's undefeated. They haven't been as consistent on both sides of the ball or faced the competition that those 3 have. And again, I know we can debate the caliber of competition to this point across the board, but man, bottom line, A&M looks like a legit national title contender.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just how deep are the pockets, man? I mean, they went down deep in the pockets a couple years ago, had a blow up with Jimbo, sort of what we're having here right now, but they've recovered rather well. They still have the support. They still have that fan base, and it's the same stuff that we have. They have the facilities. They have the campus. They have the stadium. They have the fan support. It's just like we just need the right person to come into Penn State and turn it around and just point us in the right direction. Understand the culture of Penn State. Understand the culture of Central Pennsylvania, of Pennsylvania in general, of our fan base. That's what Elko has done down there at Texas A&M. They had a lot of money. There's no doubt about it, and they're using it the right way. Whereas Jimbo was just like throwing that money around. There was a purpose to this money, and it just goes to show how fast it can turn around. Because 3 years ago, we were talking about this at Texas A&M being the way we are right now, in complete just flux. Everything is just done. Where everything's in a flux. It's unbelievable. Everything's just thrown up in the air. But that just proves to you how quick you can come back when you have the fan support, when you have the facilities. You can go out and recruit. So I'm okay with getting back to where we're going. I know it's off subject. I'm sorry, but I just look at Texas A&M as like that's where we want to go, of how they have come back. Because Marco's told me Texas A&M, we talk about us being in the middle of nowhere, and it's hard to recruit kids to Penn State because it's a country school. Marco tells me down in Texas, he's like, College Station is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's nothing there. Yeah. Nothing. And he's just like, it's tough to get, the higher end recruits to go out there, but you're getting them now. And then the job that Elko is doing is amazing. But again, I mean, we could go talk about this the next session, but what are your orders? What is the order of the coaching of the Blue Bloods right now? We're going to say top 5 jobs that are opened up. Are we 1, 2, 3? I mean, I think we're top 3. I believe that we're ahead of Arkansas, and I believe we're ahead of Virginia Tech. Yeah. But are we ahead of LSU? Are we ahead of Florida? I don't know.
Well, and how do you define that? Because one of the things Paul Feinbaum's like, well, clearly Florida, they've won a national title more recently. You got to go all the way back to the 80s for Penn State to be relevant. And two things on that, because that stuff just drives me crazy a little bit. One is there's a difference between winning national titles and being relevant. You can't say you're only a relevant program if you win a national title. That to me is absurd. Notre Dame has been relevant. Yeah, well, yeah, but Notre Dame has been relevant in recent years. They just haven't won a national title, at least not yet. So that's one thing. And you go back, obviously the 94 team, 2005 was, a play away, 2016. So all right, fine to say that they haven't won a national title, been recognized as the national champion since the 80s. I don't think it's fair to say that Penn State hasn't been in the picture or right there since. But I also don't know. And the argument was because Florida and LSU have won recent titles, within the last decade and a half, they're clearly better jobs. I'm not sure. I think you're going to have different people looking at different things. And so I don't know that you can definitively say one job is better than another. What is it that you're looking for? If it is a huge payday, I think the three are probably pretty comparable. I think all three are likely going to be forking over $10 million plus per season to whoever the next head coach is. And even as I'm saying that is absurd. But it is the world we're living in, and I'll be surprised if the coach that Penn State lands, whoever it is, isn't in the double-digit millions of dollars annually for the salary, and that's what the going rate is. And again, we can argue. I mean, Cignetti got, what was it, 11.3 or 11.4 million per season.
Still not worth it.
And again, if you win a national title, fans administration probably tells you, yep, that was worth it. If you don't, the fans are going to tell you, well, it wasn't worth it. And again, over the next 6-7 years, there's going to be at the most 6-7 programs that win national titles. Well, there's 30 to 40 that feel like, now we've gone all in. We should be winning a national title here pretty soon, within the next few years. And it's just not going to happen for the overwhelming majority of those programs. And again, if Indiana does, or one of these other, Indiana or, even Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, folks are going to say, well, that's the blueprint. That's what you need to do. And you're going to have a bunch of people trying to replicate it, but it's just like the NFL. You try to replicate what the NFL, what the Super Bowl champions are doing, but it's really hard to replicate it and you just have to have everything come together, Goon. And again, we got to see how this season plays out. We're sitting here right now. My guess is at least one of those three that we're right now rightfully saying, I think they have, it feels like separated themselves a little bit from the field right now. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Will not be surprised at all if one or two of those three are not in the semifinals here at the end of the season, because again, injuries can play a role. There's a bunch of things can play a factor here. What's that?
Michigan might play a role. Can Ohio State get over Michigan?
For sure. That game, man, that is going to be an intriguing watch once again this season.
Yes. Hey, so the more I think about it, we talked the other day about a 5-year window is what coaches are getting right now. The 5 or 6 year window, because it's like you got a whole recruiting cycle. And the more I think about it, you are spot on by saying you got 3 years. And if you don't see a distinct turnaround, you're gone.
Yeah, if you're not at least knocking on the door and feeling like you're right there, it's
because that's the way the rules are set up. I mean, you're going to a new coach is going to get what he wants. He's going to say, okay, we need NIL money. Okay, you got it. We're going to do this. We're all in. And then you got to, produce in those 3 years, or at least threaten, like you said, to be in the playoff, to be in the hunt, to be playing late in November in relative games that are worth something. You got 3 years to do that. 3. But the way the rules are, like we talked about Coach Rhodes getting into basketball a couple years ago, you can get a whole new roster. Like Signetti. I mean, he wasn't playing with a lot of, that's not all Indiana, kids from 4 years ago. He brought a ton of those kids in, and a lot of kids transferred in too. So he changed the whole complex, the whole mentality of the Indiana program. So, it's just something to look at, how do we want to go about this? And we'll talk about it in the next subject. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great discussion. And again, I think you've got to have a lot of different parts. It's not just the coach. It's that everything else, you have to follow the coach's lead, but as a program, be willing to, all right, this is what's needed to win a national title. And that is obviously the ultimate objective here. It's not to be, we want to be a playoff team. We want to be a Final Four team. That's fine. That's good. Those are admirable objectives. That's not what this is all about. And because of that, again, that pressure just gets ratcheted up and the patience wears thin very quickly. We'll take a break here. We are back with a final segment on our Tuesday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on this Tuesday afternoon as we get ready. Penn State and Ohio State again Saturday, 12 noon in Columbus. The Nittany Lions 3-4, riding that 4-game losing skid. And the Buckeyes also coming off the bye week, sitting there at 7-0 and looking very much like a team that could go win a second straight national championship here for Ryan Day. Goon, in terms of the Penn State coaching search, again, to me, much more important that they just get the person that Pat Kraft feels can, again, bring this thing together quickly. And again, to me, it's much more. I'm not as worried about the splash name and whether or not they get somebody that everybody is eagerly awaiting. I'm okay if they get that. Again, if an Urban Meyer or a Nick Saban comes in, I'm good with that. But I really am, because I think Pat Kraft knows the importance of this hire for him, for Pat Kraft and his legacy, and and really his job. I mean, his performance as athletic director is going to be largely dependent now on how James Franklin's successor does over the next 3 or 4 years as head coach of the football program. So
I want to jump in here, Jeff.
Go ahead.
And that is that, like, people are like, they want this big splash hire. I don't give a crap. I want somebody who's going to come in here, understand Penn State, understand the fan, understand the people that support the program, the people around the state, around the country that are Penn State fans, and they understand. And I hate using the word culture, because when the whole Sandusky thing went down, they were calling us the cult, and the culture up there is toxic. Bull crap, man. If culture is rooting for your team through thick and thin, standing by your guys and treating these guys special, then we're guilty. We're absolutely guilty. Throw us in jail. That's fine. And I don't give a crap if it's a splash hire. I, again, have faith in Pat Kraft that he's not going to go out there and choke on this thing. I don't think he is. I have an idea of who I think he wants, but I could be completely off. You know what I mean? I don't know what Pat's going to do, but I have the faith in Pat, because this is his livelihood.
Yeah.
This is the what's going to make or break his job here at Penn State. Was he a great athletic director? Well, he went out and hired so-and-so, so absolutely he is. Pat Kraft has done nothing in his 5 years here, or however long he's been here, to make me think that he does not want to win in the football field. It means everything to him. He wants to win in every sport, in every day, every season. He wants national titles. He wants football, baseball, basketball, women's basketball, lacrosse, field hockey. He wants them up there with the wrestling program. And there's no doubt. Like, you might win a national. Coach Katie with the women's volleyball team. She came in and he said to her, how are we going to do it again next year? How are we getting back there next year? That's how Pat looks at it. And I have the utmost faith in him, because I know how smart he is, and I know how much of a competitor he is, that I'm okay with he could go out and hire Gay, Grapp, Ron Vanderlyn. He could put Spider as the head football coach, and I'm going to have the support for him. There's no doubt. I'm not worried about that. Now, these people, again, it's the same 10% who are going to cry either way. I'm not. If they hire Matt Rule, I'm out. If Urban Meyer's hired, I'm out. Then go. Get out. good riddance. Do we really want you? I mean, it's like, I don't care if it's a splash hire. If it is, wonderful. What's a splash hire right now? Urban Meyer, Nick Saban. I think Brady from the Buffalo Bills would be a big splash. I mean, who else do you think? Elko? Do you think he's going to leave Texas A&M?
Yeah, Brady's an interesting one, Goon, because I don't know that most of the fan base would agree with you that would be a splash hire. I mean, I think I'm just speaking for me. I'd be
I hear you.
I like him, but I don't think when I think splash hire, I'm thinking name brand. And listen, we've seen things work out and not work out with the quote unquote splash hires, and same thing with the this guy seemed to come from nowhere. I mean, James Franklin was a splash hire, quite frankly. He was the hot name when Penn State got him.
But that's not what we do, Jeff. That's what I never understood, is that we were going after that big splash hire. You know what I mean? That's not us.
Well, and I think it worked out very well. I think it was a good hire, really good hire by Penn State, and regardless of how things played out and whether or not, it's hard to. You can't really argue that James Franklin didn't get Penn State back in good stead on the college football spectrum here, and that was no small feat.
We should be forever indebted to him for what he did.
So they went out and again, I think got the right guy at the right time, and I think that's I think that's Pat Kraft's ultimate objective here is let's just get the best guy for Penn State right now, and
for Penn State.
Yeah, for Penn State, and to win a national championship. And again, that is, make no mistake now, that is what this hire hinges on. And I just think that's a really tough spot for both Pat Kraft and for the incoming coach. I realize they're competitive guys. Whoever it is going to have to be a competitive guy. They're going to think they can do it. And they may, again, I'm hoping like crazy that they do it. But do I think, like, if Texas A&M, let's just say, finishes, I guess, to the semifinals, loses, and then next year takes a step back and doesn't get into the playoffs, and then the following year gets it, like, do you start to say, well, yeah, Mike Elko, I mean, he's a good coach. Like right now, everybody's, oh man, if Penn State could get Elko, I mean, I've seen a couple of articles. That's the guy. I don't know if you can, but you got to at least make a play for him. And it's like, well, first of all, and listen, I think he is a great coach. And this is the thing. I think there's probably 20 to 30 truly great coaches. Maybe there's even more than that out there. But you've got to get the right situation. You've got to get the right players at the right time, and it's all got to come together. And so, yeah, right now, Mike Elko is he and Kurt Cignetti are hot, and I think they are both great coaches, and I think they both could win national titles. Maybe one of them will this year. But also possible neither of them will ever, like, this is going to be as good as it gets at either of those places with those coaches. Again, we'll see how it all plays out, and it will play out. But we are really quick to jump onto a bandwagon and then to start calling out, well, that's not what we once thought it was. Mike Norvell a couple of years ago was, oh man, this is the it guy. Well, nobody's thinking that now. Dabo Swinney, they're ready to run him out. And I've seen a couple people now on the Penn State boards. It's like, well, if Dabo Swinney becomes available, I don't want any part of that.
Well, why would you think that?
Because they're saying if we got rid of James Franklin because he can't win the big game, not only are they not winning the big games in Clemson, they're not winning the so-so games in Clemson now.
They forget about his 2 national titles and three appearances, and it's unbelievable. But you know what? I was telling Carrie the other day, I said, I don't think Dabo Swinney would be a fit for here. I think that, I think the Southern Christian man does not really fit in the Northeast, in my opinion. And I'm not knocking him and his religion and stuff like that, but I don't think that we're the place that when he invokes God and Christianity and all this and all that, I just don't see that working here. Not just because of Penn State, but some people get really mad at that, they don't want religion in football and all that stuff, but Dabo seems to always bring that in there and intertwine it. So that's why I said it would be a good fit. But coaching-wise, he's unbelievable. But I hope that Clemson goes on a 40-year non-bowl streak the way they're treating him. Like, that man deserves the respect for what he did to that program and how they're just trying to run him out because he's not doing what, he's not doing the transfer portal. He's not using all this money. He has all of this, and it's just crazy. But again, is that the 10% freak, like, crazy fan that we're listening to from Clemson? Because people call us a cult because of our crazy 10% fan. So who knows? Who the heck knows?
Well, but the other side of it is, they are not. That program has slipped pretty substantially here over the last 3 years. What he did was great, but they're looking to win now.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I do think is tough in sports. And actually, I was just talking with somebody about that with the Steelers today, which is like, how long do you? It feels like the Steelers for a long time just always made the right call on when to get rid of veterans. And so you had guys like Rod Woodson who you loved and you appreciated, and it's like, yep, and you were paid for it, and we need to move on because we see now that you're not. And it feels like with like a TJ Watt, you're giving him this huge contract at a time where the production is starting to slip and likely not going to get better here over the course of that contract. And it feels like they're maybe with Mike Tomlin being more in charge, they're making some decisions that aren't the hardline business decisions that the Steelers of the past have made. And listen, college athletic administrations, again, Dabo Swinney was very well paid for his national championships. They're paying him now to be competitive and to win national championships now. Well, how long do you say, listen, we respect and we appreciate what you did, but we got to get somebody in here that can win for us now in this era of college football. Again, it turned on James Franklin on a dime. Over a 2-week period, it went from, we got to have an appreciation for consistently getting the 10 wins. We're in the semifinals last year. Oh, yeah, but now you lost 2 games, so you got to get out of here. Wait, we got to find a guy that's really going to win.
I truly, truly think that something happened, and it will come out. There's just, you can't tell me that it soured in 15 days like that. That, like the way that Nick Saban made it seem like, it was horseshoe that you got fired. Something. That plan was in play. And again, I go back to it. Now, I do want to say something about James in comparison to Dabo, and that is that James did an unbelievable job maintaining the transfer portal, the current roster, the payment of players, the NIL players, all of this. He had, again, he's self-admitted micromanager, so he was involved in all of that. So, was there a burnout? Was it a burnout situation on James's part that he didn't seem like he was part of it? It didn't seem like he was fully in on this season. But whatever, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But that's the person that needs to come in here next, and that is that Dabo needs a general manager. There's no doubt in my mind. The more I look at it, and then I go back to the Bill O'Brien syndrome of he hated having to be the general manager and the coach because you're messing with people's money. Money does weird stuff to people, man. So James Franklin wants to be your friend. He wants to be Drew Aller's friend, but he's also trying to get Drew Aller to play football at Penn State for as little money as he possibly can do it for. That's all of a sudden. When money gets involved, your friendships are out the window. And I think that really, really caught up to James. But in the same breath, The person that comes in here to take this job, I truly, truly believe we need a general manager. But do you think that James would have been good under a general manager? And I would say absolutely not. I am 1,000,000% convinced that James has to be the number one guy, and the GM would be working for him, rather than the vice versa or how it works,
I think any coach that they're going to go after is going to be the exact same way. I don't think it'll work with a big time coach saying, "Yep, I'll play second fiddle." It has to be. That's why I'm saying in the conversation, it has to be. Hey, we're on the same page, and yeah, the coach has to be the ultimate guy in charge of the program.
I agree, but when it comes to money, the money is the factor that really, really screws with people. And if James or the next head coach is not involved with the money and just say, hey, you go see so-and-so about that. And then, the old so what? I don't want to hear about your money problems. I don't want to hear about your contract negotiation. That's not what I do. I'm here to coach football. I'm here to do this and that, You go talk to so-and-so about money. Don't bring that to me. And I think that that's the way that it has to be. Well, you're right. The head coach is the head coach. There's no way in hell. I probably said it wrong when saying that James is not going to answer to a general manager. No college coach is going to be below a general manager. It's the head coach, and the general manager works for the head coach. But the general manager takes care of all the unnecessary stuff that we didn't have 15 years ago. The portal, maintaining the team. Let the coach be a coach, and let him be friends with the players. You start adding money, this is what happens, and it's a lot of stuff that's going into this pick. So sorry.
No doubt about it. We'll pick up the conversation on Thursday, folks. Until then, be good and be safe.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors. People invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
Your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College.